Hello and welcome back to my photography channel. I'm John Dugan and I often get asked how many photographs do I take? And the answer may surprise you. For example, after a week of really bad weather, really wet weather over Hagley Park, one of my favourite spots for photographing, we finally had a good forecast for the weekend for Saturday and Sunday with a good chance of mist, particularly because there was no wind and clear skies. So here is my GPS track log for Saturday, and here it is for Sunday. On Saturday there was no wind and there was a low mist hanging low over Hagley Park, particularly around the Avon River. And on that day I took 268 frames over about 2 hours. On the Sunday, however, there was no mist and the lighting was quite flat and dull, but I still had a good look around, and over an hour and a half I took no photographs except for this reference shot, which was just to remind me to go back to this spot before the leaves completely disappeared for winter. So when the conditions are good, I will take a lot of photographs, but when the conditions aren't conducive to photography, I'll just have a good look around and try and enjoy the process. If we examine the timeline of Saturday morning, I arrived before sunrise and took this shot at 7:36 a.m. It's kind of okay, but I didn't think it was really a great composition and the lighting was a little bit flat, so I moved on. The next shot I took was at 7:44 a.m. and once again I wasn't enamored of the composition given the lighting, and so I kept looking around. I took some variations here at 8:03 a.m. Lighting still a bit flat and boring, so kept moving. And then at 8:23, about 3/4 of an hour after I took my first shot, I could see the sun coming up through the mist over the Avon River, and that's when I started taking a lot of variations. And the reasons I take a lot of variations when the conditions are good are, number one, I don't know when the lighting will be at its best. The sun's going to rise, the mist will eventually rise, and I will have lost my opportunity. So I want to make the most of that peak time. So number two, I don't know when I will have got the best composition, because as I move around and rearrange what's in front of my camera, I get better and better compositions, but you never quite know whether you've got the perfect one. So it's best just to keep moving and taking variations while the conditions are good, and then evaluate them later and decide which was the best one. If you wait too long, you might miss the best one. And number three, I like to include people moving through my scenes. It creates a point of interest and kind of a decisive moment to tie the whole image together. And with people moving through the scene, you can never be quite sure whether you've caught them in an awkward moment, or maybe you've caught them too soon or a little bit late. I like to take a few shots as they move through the scene and then once again decide later which is the premium frame. So here's an example where I've taken a number of frames of essentially the same composition, but each with a different decisive moment. And this one frame is the only one that I'll actually work on significantly and that I intend to show or use. So why have I chosen this frame over the other ones? Well, I've caught the runner in a good moment. He looks quite natural, and he's also well positioned within the frame, so it really suits the composition. There's a general rule of thumb that if you're photographing something moving through a scene, it's best to give them more room to move into the scene, so more room in front of them than behind them. It just looks more natural, and in this case that's worked out perfectly. So taking 268 frames over a very short period of time isn't a sign of indecisiveness or adopting the shotgun approach to photography. It's really an accumulation of knowledge and experience that tells me when the conditions are right and I've got a limited window of opportunity. I really have to make the most of it and take as many variations as I can, moving quickly, making the decisions about what is the best image, the best moment in the edit phase or after the fact. And the other reason is, although I shoot a lot of frames when the conditions are good, I only ever intend to show a handful if I follow my own advice. So I'd never actually sit down with someone and take them through each of the 268 images. That would be a bit much. So I need to put the effort into the edit so that I show my best, let's say 6 variations, to keep it really interesting. It also means that I'm narrowing it down to spend the most time editing just the images that I think are really worthy of getting the most out of. So here are all 268 images. And here are the 1-star rated images. So 1 star just means that these images are the best of a group of images, or maybe the best couple, worthy of further consideration. And then I've gone through and rated the best of those 1-star images with 2 stars. And 2 stars are a step up. They might be the best from a group of images. They might be the best of a variation. So 2-star narrows it down even further. So my 3-star images are the best images of the day, and I can use them in a portfolio, show them, put them on a website, might decide to print them. But they're the shots that I really want to spend the most time with. And on the flip side, I'm quite comfortable taking no photographs if in fact the weather doesn't cooperate and it's a bit dull and there's not much happening. I just use that time for practice and reconnaissance, make a few plans for next time. You can still enjoy the process of being out there. So to sum up, to answer the question, how many photographs do I take? The answer is it depends. In this instance, on the Saturday, the weather and the event came together to create really great conditions for photography. So I really wanted to get the most out of it and not miss any opportunity. So I did take a lot of shots. On the Sunday, conditions weren't ideal. There wasn't much happening. It was a bit dull, but I was quite happy having a look around, and you kind of have to be there to make the most of the opportunity anyway. And if it doesn't happen, well, we just write it off to practice, to reconnaissance, to making plans for next time. And that's my point really. You just need to make the effort to be there, to go and see what you can find, and be comfortable with coming away with nothing if nothing works out. Enjoy the process, learn what you can from it, but you can never guarantee that the weather will cooperate and conditions will cooperate. So don't be disheartened when things don't work out. The more you go out, the more you increase your chances of getting great shots. The trick is, I think, to keep practicing and be disciplined in your editing. Over time, you'll just know when it's worth taking quite a few variations of a scene or taking no photos and just moving on. To finish off, I want to show you what the images looked like before they came out of camera. This is the 3-star images, and what they looked like after I finished editing the photo. You'll notice that some of the edited versions don't look that different to the unedited versions. And this is because of another mantra I follow, which is get it right in camera as much as you can, but that's really another topic for a different video. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.